Hi, and welcome to the How to Survive Healthcare podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Thompson-Riviere, seasoned critical care RN turned independent patient advocate. Tune in every week so that you can learn the things about the U.S. healthcare system that no one ever tells you. That way that you can get the most from it and optimize your health outcomes. Now, of course, this podcast is strictly to inform and entertain and should never be taken as a substitute for medical advice. Let's dive right in. Hi, welcome back to another episode of How to Survive Healthcare. I'm your host, Kayla Thompson-Riviere. Today, I want to talk to you about long-term care insurance. I know, very exciting to talk about insurance, but it's something that's actually quite important and gets overlooked way too much. So you may recall hearing this. It was mentioned briefly in the episode that I did with PM Dunwald about navigating long-term care options. But it's something that's come up in my practice a few times over the past several weeks. So I wanted to bring some attention to it through the podcast here. So what is long-term care insurance? Have you heard of it before? So let me take a step back. What is long-term care? So long-term care refers to nursing home care, assisted living care, or if you need a caretaker to help care for you in your home. Now, who pays for long-term care? It's not your health insurance. A lot of people think their health insurance will cover this, but health insurance only covers medically related things. And although the inability to care for oneself is often because of a medical condition, that actual care that you need isn't a medical condition. Nice little caveat that they have there. So long-term care, not covered by your insurance. And fun fact, it's estimated that about 70% of U.S. Americans age 65 and older will need some form of long-term care through their life. So most people need it. Most people don't have coverage, and more than half of people believe that their medical insurance will cover it. So lots of issues there with just even knowing about how this is going to happen in the first place. So long-term care typically can be financed in one of three ways. So firstly is out of pocket. Your health insurance doesn't cover it, so you have to pay for it yourself. Long-term care is not cheap. Obviously, there's a great amount of variance if you're staying in the home and bringing in care, either private pay or through an agency. You're going to pay an hourly rate for that service. And you can pick how many hours you need. So pretty wide variety there. However, moving into an assisted living or a nursing home, you're typically looking at a starting point of around $5,000 a month, and it can go all the way up to $20,000 a month in some areas. So certainly not cheap, and you can burn through your retirement and savings very quickly. The second option for paying for long-term care is the government. So you can, there's a qualification process, but you can get Medicaid, and Medicaid will pay for long-term care. However, they will only begin to pay for that after you've spent all of your own money, essentially. It varies state by state because Medicaid is a state-run program. But in most states, they don't allow you to have more than around $2,000 in assets. So not very much money. So you end up having to do what's called a spend down and burn through all of your savings on long-term care before the state will pay for any care. I mean, once you burn up all your money, they'll pay for it forever. So there's that. But obviously not a great situation. So the third option then is the long-term care insurance. Now, long-term care insurance, not always, but a lot of times you can get what's called a hybrid policy. So some people don't want to get long-term care insurance because they don't know if they're going to need it. And who wants to pay for insurance for something you don't use? Believe me, I get it. What's nice is that these hybrid policies, it's actually a life insurance policy that has a long-term care rider. So if you never access it, the benefits for long-term care, it just becomes a life insurance policy then after you pass. So that money isn't wasted, essentially. You're getting it one way or another. And then depending on where you get your policy will depend on, how much it costs. Obviously, just like life insurance, the earlier on in your life that you get it, the less you're going to pay for it. If you are local to me, meaning in the southern Delaware, eastern shore of Maryland place, and you're like, oh crap, I don't have long-term care insurance and it sure sounds like I need it, you can call my friend Colleen Nichols over at Landmark Insurance, and she will take great care of you. Actually, the policies that she has, if you do go into long-term care, once you start needing it, you stop paying the premium and your premiums don't go up. So that's a really nice care option. And it is the one that's a rider that turns into a life insurance policy should you not need it. So really great to have that coverage there. If you don't, you're looking at spending all of your money until the point where you have none, and then the state comes in. And it's just awful. And it catches so many people off guard because there just really isn't enough conversation around this. I'll be frank, it wasn't something I was familiar with until I started getting into this kind of work. I've never heard of long-term care insurance before. I did not know. I thought Medicare paid for nursing homes, just like I think most people do. So now you know, get out there, call your insurance agent. If you have a life insurance policy, check there first because it might have a long-term care rider and you're just unaware. That's best case scenario. But if not, give my friend Colleen Nichols a call. She is licensed in, I think she said 10 or 11 different states. So you may be able to get up with her even if you're not exactly in my geographic area. Also, when you are starting to look at these kind of things, get in touch with an elder care lawyer. They can help guide you around some of the nuances specific to your issues and your situation to help preserve your finances. And again, anytime that you're looking for help in navigating medical decisions, feel free to reach out to me or find an advocate in your area. You can go to gnanow.org and get some help with these things. But please start the conversation now. Start getting a plan in place now, because the client that I've been caring for, that we've started looking at some long-term care insurance options, it was unfortunately she fell into that category where they thought Medicare would pay for it. And fortunately, she was able to avoid the assisted living and go back home with some help at this time. And it's allowed that family to buy a little time to get a bit of a better plan in place. But it was a very scary and eye-opening time for that family. And watching them go through that, I do my best to prevent any of you guys from going through that. Get up with an insurance agent, get yourself covered, because chances are you are going to need care at some point with your activities of daily living. That's bathing, dressing, eating, transferring, so like in and out of a chair, toileting, and whether or not you're continent. Those are the activities of daily living they look at. And chances are you're going to need help with one or more of those as you age. So get yourself some insurance. Don't lose all your money. Have a great day. As always, if there's something you want me to cover and bring to the podcast, please reach out, www.heardforlife.com. Thank you.